All right, so let's get into this. Because if you were up at midnight on January 15th, just, staring at your phone, refreshing your feed, you saw something that wasn't just a sports transaction. It was like the final messy explosion of a time bomb that's been ticking under the Golden State Warriors for years.
Yeah, it was midnight drama, for sure. But honestly, it wasn't a surprise, was it? It felt inevitable. Like the end of a math problem the Warriors have been trying to ignore and failing to solve for 3 seasons.
So let's just set the scene for you so everyone really gets the gravity here. As the clock hits 12, Jonathan Kuminga is officially trade eligible. The contract restrictions, they're gone. And in that instant, the whole polite story that everything was fine in the Bay Area just evaporated. The request is public. He wants out.
And from all the reporting we're seeing today, that feeling is 100% mutual. The team wants him out, too. This isn't a let's work it out situation. It's over.
So today on The Deep Dive, we're not just talking about some trade request. We are doing a full forensic analysis of a breakup. We've gone through all the insider reports from Shams Charania, the deep dive articles from Anthony Slater, and some really, really candid audio from NBA analysts who are just picking apart how toxic this whole thing got.
And what's so fascinating is that this goes way beyond just basketball, X's and O's. This is a case study in, organizational failure, misaligned incentives, and a term we hear a lot in the corporate world, quiet quitting.
Except, as we're about to find out, there was absolutely nothing quiet about this particular exit strategy.
And not even a little, no. It was deafening.
But before we get to the explosion, we kind of have to rewind. Because usually, when a young lottery pick becomes trade eligible, it's a moment of opportunity, it's supposed to be exciting. Here, it just felt like a deadline for a divorce. How did we even get here?
You really have to look at the timeline. This didn't just start this week. I mean, remember, it took the entire last offseason just to get Kuminga to sign a 2-year deal. He was a restricted free agent, which usually means the team has all the power. But it was a holdout, it was contentious, it was ugly.
Right. And when they finally signed that deal back in October, it wasn't a celebration. There was no big press conference with all the smiles and handshakes. It felt more like a temporary ceasefire. Everybody in the league knew that January 15th, the first day he could be traded, that was going to be the day.
Exactly. And the dysfunction, it started before the ink was even dry. You found a detail in the sources that I think just perfectly sums up how broken the communication was between his camp and the front office.
Oh, this story is it's wild. I had to read it twice to make sure it was real. So last fall, Kuminga's agent, Aaron Turner, he goes on a podcast with Anthony Slater. Now, usually agents give these very bland, media-trained answers. We love the team. We're focused on winning, all that stuff.
Yeah, standard procedure. Never tip your hand.
But this. The sources describe it as an active contract negotiation happening live on air. One analyst called it one of the most remarkable media moments of the last 10 years.
That's unheard of, truly. I mean, high-stakes negotiations happen behind closed doors, in quiet rooms with lawyers. To have an agent basically bargaining and airing grievances on a public podcast, it just tells you that trust has totally collapsed.
It felt less like a professional negotiation and more like a reality show confession.
Right. It tells you the normal ways of doing things, calling the GM, setting up a meeting, were just dead. They felt they had to go to the court of public opinion to get any kind of leverage. It proves the relationship was already just for show months ago. They were just running out the clock.
Okay, so that was the prelude.
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward to this season. You brought up quiet quitting earlier. We all know the term, right? You do the bare minimum, you clock out at 5 p.m. on the dot, you've emotionally checked out.
It's passive aggression as a work strategy, basically.
Exactly. But our sources make a very clear point here. They say the Warriors and Kuminga didn't quiet quit. They quit loudly on each other.
And that is such a powerful way to put it. And there's one specific incident that just proves it completely. It involves Steve Kerr, the head coach, and a pregame announcement that just went sideways. Fast.
Oh man, it makes you cringe thinking about it. It's so awkward. So the Warriors are resting some guys, standard load management, keeping the vets fresh. Steve Kerr tells the media before the game, Jonathan Kuminga is going to play. He puts his reputation on the line, says it publicly. Kuminga's getting minutes tonight.
He's basically signaling to the whole league, here's our young asset, watch him, we're showcasing him.
Then what happens? All of a sudden, Kuminga claims his back hurts.
My back hurts, just like that.
And he refuses to play.
That is the textbook definition of loud quitting. I mean, think about the power dynamics in that moment. You got the head coach, a legend, a champion, telling the media you're playing, and the player just vetoes him. in real time. That's not just a miscommunication, that's a mutiny. It's a total breakdown of respect.
It's like telling your boss no in the middle of a client meeting.
Exactly. And if you look at the fallout, well, the team did not take it lightly.
No. The hard data from our sources shows Kuminga hasn't played in 13 games. He went from starting the first 12 games to a complete DNP. Did not play.
That is such a drastic shift. Usually you see a guy get demoted to the bench, maybe fall out of the rotation. This was just falling off a cliff.
It's the nuclear option. He's healthy enough to get traded, because you can't really trade an injured player. But he's not healthy enough, or maybe willing enough, to play for this team.
And the whole vibe around the team, I mean, you can just feel the tension through the reporting. Listen to some of these quotes we found. You've got Jimmy Butler, who's on this Warriors team now, calling them mediocre.
And Jimmy Butler, he's a lot of things, but he's not a liar. If he thinks you're mediocre, he will tell you. Loudly.
And even Steve Kerr himself admitted they're a fading dynasty when the coach, the ultimate optimist, the championship DNA guy, when he's using the word fading to the press, you know it's bad.
But both of those comments are accurate, aren't they? And that's the tragedy here. You have a young player, Kuminga, looking at this whole situation, a mediocre team, a fading dynasty, and he asks himself a very logical question. Why am I sacrificing for this?
That's the perfect way to get into the why of it all. Because on paper, playing for the Golden State Warriors should be a dream for a young player. You're with Steph Curry, Draymond Green. It's a winning culture. So why did this specific marriage go so wrong?
Well, it really all comes down to a huge strategic failure the Warriors have been dealing with for years. We all call it the two-timeline strategy.
The idea that they could win now with the old guard, Steph, Clay, Draymond, and at the same time develop the next generation to take over, it was, frankly, just arrogance.
Having your cake and eating it too. And the sources we raid are so blunt about how this failed with Kuminga. One analyst just flat out said the Warriors should never have drafted his ass to begin with.
Wow. Okay, tell us how you really feel.
It sounds harsh, but it gets to the core conflict. The Warriors drafted Kuminga, this raw athletic scorer, and told him, we need you to be in service of the veterans. Wanted him setting screens, playing defense, cutting, all the dirty work to make life easier for Steph and Draymond.
Which makes total sense for the team. If you want to win with Steph, everyone else has to be a role player. You orbit the sun, you don't try to be the sun.
For the team, yes.
Yeah.
But okay, put yourself in Kuminga's shoes. In today's NBA, how do you get paid? How do you get that massive, life-changing second contract?
It's not by setting screens, it's points per game.
Yeah.
It's highlights, usage rate, individual stats. That is the currency of the league.
Exactly. You get paid for production.
Yeah.
So the Warriors were asking a young, super talented guy to sacrifice the very things that determine his financial future, all to prop up a dynasty that's on its last legs.
And don't forget, they won a championship with him in his first year, back in 2022. So in his head, he's thinking, okay, I did the service thing, we got the ring, I played my role, now it's my time for me to get mine.
It's my time to do that. That's the exact quote from the report. And when the team came back and said, no, actually we need you to keep sacrificing, keep setting screens, the whole relationship just fractured. He felt he held up his end of the bargain, and now the team was blocking his growth and his earning potential.
It's a total clash of incentives. The employer wants one thing, the employee wants another. But let me play devil's advocate for just a second here.
Go for it. Though as one source said, the devil doesn't need an advocate, but please, continue.
I love that line. But seriously, there's this myth of the infallible Warriors. We all tend to think that if a player doesn't fit in Golden State, it has to be the player's fault. He has a bad attitude, or a low basketball IQ, or he just doesn't know how to win.
Oh, for sure. That's the narrative. The Warriors' way is the gold standard. If you fail there, you're the problem. But our sources push back hard on that idea.
Right. They bring up Kelly Oubre Jr. Remember his time in the Bay?
Oh, vividly. It was a disaster. I think I've tried to block most of it out.
He looked completely lost. Everyone said he was a bad player. Then he goes to Philadelphia, and suddenly he's a really valuable guy on a playoff team. He looks great. He's scoring 20 a night.
It's a perfect example. Just because you don't fit into this very specific, very unique Golden State system, playing off of Draymond and Steph, doesn't mean you're a bad player.
And especially with this current roster, the source points out that construction is just weird. You've got Draymond Green, who isn't a shooter. You've got Jimmy Butler, who famously doesn't shoot threes.
Yeah, that spacing is a complete nightmare. In the modern NBA, you need space to drive. You need lanes.
Exactly. And then you drop Kuminga, who is a slasher that needs space to get to the rim, into that clogged toilet of a paint. Of course it looks bad. There is literally nowhere for the guy to go.
It is not a good fit for his style at all. And really, the organization has known this for a long time. The criticism from the analysts we looked at is that the Warriors just held on too long. They were scared of cutting bait too early, afraid of admitting they messed up on a lottery pick.
The sunk cost fallacy.
100%. In the NFL, they say it's better to cut a player a year too early than a year too late. The Warriors did the opposite. They let a bad fit just fester until it became toxic. They hoped the talent would win out, but it never did.
And now they're stuck. And speaking of being stuck, let's talk numbers. Because the emotional stuff, the podcast, the back injuries, that's all bad. But the math is even worse.
The math it's brutal.
Yeah, the source dropped a stat that just, my jaw hit the floor. The Golden State Warriors are statistically 9 points better per 100 possessions when Jonathan Kuminga is not on the floor.
That is the definition of addition by subtraction.
It's incredible. 9 points is massive in the NBA. That's the difference between a title contender and a lottery team. So you have a guy who thinks he's a star, and the team is just objectively better when he's on the bench.
It's like running a race with a heavy backpack on and then realizing you're way faster once you take it off.
And that creates a total nightmare for Mike Dunleavy Jr., the GM. He's got a $22 million asset who isn't playing, and when he does play, the team gets worse. How do you even trade that? Hey, take our expensive guy who makes us worse.
So the obvious question is trade him, right? He's eligible. Just get him out of there. But who actually wants him? If the numbers are that bad, is there even a market?
Well, there is a market, but it's maybe not the one Kuminga thinks it is. The main team that keeps coming up in the reports is the Sacramento Kings.
Like the beat.
They wanted him last summer, and apparently they still want him, but there's a problem.
Of course there is.
The Warriors need front court help. They need size, rebounding. The Kings, they have a glut of guards. Malik Monk was the name that was mentioned.
So the Warriors would trade a forward for another guard. That doesn't really fix their roster issues.
Not at all. The trade logic is tough. Why would the Warriors want more guards when they're already small? It just shuffles the deck chairs on the Titanic.
And there was some pretty serious shade thrown at the Kings in the source material about their management. Did you catch that?
Oh, I absolutely did. One of the analysts said, and this is a quote, the Kings are not known for being thought leaders.
Ouch. That is some serious professional speak for, hey, you have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. They mentioned 20 years of ineptitude. Now, to be fair, they did say the current guy, Scott Perry, can't be blamed for all of that. But in the NBA, reputations stick. If the only team really knocking on your door is a franchise known for making bad decisions, what does that say about your guy's actual value?
It says the market is cold.
Yeah.
Which leads to this bigger question the source posed. Would the Warriors have just been better off not even having him on the roster this year? Like, forget the asset, just pure basketball vibes. Would they be better if they just cut him for nothing?
It's a totally valid question. When you add up the loud quitting, the media circus, podcast stuff, the pregame drama, the distraction cost might have been higher than the talent value. Sometimes an empty roster spot really is better than a disgruntled player.
It's a mess,
Yeah.
a $22 million mess. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to pivot to something a little different. Because we're a show that does deep dives, and our source gave us a little deep dive into how the media actually covers stories like this one.
Yeah, this was a fascinating look behind the curtain. It explains why we're seeing Kuminga's name everywhere, even though he's not playing.
So the analysts were joking about the A&C block treatment. For anyone listening who doesn't live inside a TV studio, can you break that down?
Right. For those who don't speak TV producer, a show like SportsCenter is broken into segments or blocks. The A block is the very start of the